Technology. Okay.
Don't you love it? Right. So I'll go through the process first, and then we can go through whether this is any good or not. But I think the process is a good one because when I looked at um, uh, the one that you'd created with the infinite number of bots, I was thinking, well, who's going to look at this? Is there going to be if you're someone is turning up looking for an app, then what do you actually care about? You're not going to care about any of these things because you're not an early adopter. So that the wording was all around early adoption and cool stuff, as opposed to, you know, my business is burning. Can you please hand me a fire extinguisher? So this front page is an attempt to take it from the business point of view. What do they care about? And then at each point you can drill down. Also going to do a similar thing if you are a dev or an AI dev and drill in, and then do a similar thing for um, investors. And I think then a similar thing about some kind of where they all meet together, because you don't you don't sign up as a developer, you don't sign up as a business, you move between them whenever you want. But your interest when you first land on the page, I think, is the thing that should be first served. So it's like, as a business, you go in there going, right, okay, so it's going to, the very least, is going to improve my supply chain management. It's going to improve my accounts, or an app on this is going to do all these good things that AI does. But then it does other things. You got this attribution model, and that means I'm going to reduce costs in doing this. In fact, I could actually end up earning money from them. That's kind of cool as well. And then you go down that rabbit hole. And then on the devs, you go down the rabbit hole again for all the stuff that we've already recorded. And the overlap is why this is a superior way of doing it, rather than trying to work out what nobody actually knows and everyone's giving a best guess, such as the value of an app before it's written, the value of any one person's contribution before they've contributed anything, and so forth. So that's where I'm generally going down on this one. So thoughts on that welcomed.
That sounds good in theory. I just want to make sure that it doesn't sound like the agentic nature of our posture has been captured in any of that. That sounds like a re-echoing of what we presented in the landing page of dreamcatcher.land. Whereas I think that the agentic part is actually common to all. Like before, it was
is, and that
yeah.
Yeah, and it goes into every part, but not at the very start, because as a business person, you don't go there saying, you don't wake up in the morning saying, what I really need is an agentic AI system. What you go in there saying, I really need to reduce costs in
Yeah, but I mean, like, if
supply
you,
chain management.
well, we were happy with the original Dreamcatcher.land, and it didn't say those things,
Mm-hmm.
right? And business is still the same since when we, right? So,
yeah, but we're not. But the my question is, what I'm planning on doing, or again, as I was saying, you know, the other day, this is going to be very iterative, which is why we need to up the tempo of
yeah,
the calls again.
that's right.
So the first iteration I was thinking about is trying to figure out from the point of view of the person who's turning up, what's the main thing. Now we're saying you can be all of these things, you can switch between them, but what's your main thing and what are you interested in?
So
Now,
we want to present the general something for everyone at the start, and then segment people off based on whether they're funders, consumers, or devs, builders, things like that, right?
yeah, and then bring them all back together. You've got the usual pricing thing. Yeah, that's no good. And then I just stuck in some because nobody ever checks up on
Are
these.
you reading off a page
Uh,
that I'm not looking at?
no, I think you're looking at the same thing.
The index.md that you just committed.
Yeah, let me just double check.
I can't see your screen anymore. I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
I hate this app, actually, this immersed bullshit.
Okay, let me try again. Stop sharing, share. Extend another display? What? Why do I want to do that? No.
No.
But I was actually reading from your screen, which is actually right in front of me.
Oh, you were reading from my
So we're
screen.
reading from the same thing.
Okay, well, that's a good closed loop there. Okay, I would say then that the segmentation maybe needs to be.
You see, for example, enterprise security, I think, has got much higher impact than autonomous reasoning. Autonomous reasoning sounds like, oh, I'm not ready for that. You know, it's like autonomous reasoning. I'd like to do the reasoning. Thank you very much. It's my business, and I've spent 10 years building it. Multi-agent collaboration sounds like I don't know what that is. You know, I'm taking the persona of a business guy. It's like multi-agent collaboration. That's
but
great.
you're always taking the
Performance is
persona
always good,
of
but
a business
against what?
guy, and I'm not hearing
Customizations. All
you.
right, so I can customize this.
I'm not
Adaptive
hearing you take.
learning. I've no idea about what that is really, but it sounds expensive. But I don't really need it because all I want to do is to, you know, get an app that streamlines my supply chain.
But you're always taking the business persona. You're not also taking. I think you're not balancing well between the other personas.
Oh no. Remember, I'm going to do each of the personas.
No, I'm just
Not
saying
just one.
that
I'm just starting with one.
yeah, but you always start with that one, and you're biased towards it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll watch out for that.
And so, what if you could present the you can still see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Like each one of these, we've got 6 things here, right? We're gonna have to pick some number of top features anyway, no matter what. We could do the segmentation by grouping them. Can you see my mouse as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so we could group each column with, like, you know, for business owners, for devs, for investors. Like, we could.
That's a good idea.
And
We
then
don't even have to state what it's for because ultimately a user can ping between them.
That's right. But we get
but
the segmentation going early, but at the same time, whilst asking people to consider who they are, we have also given them information or properties that might just be useful for them, even if they're in a different segment. That's what I was trying to poke at.
because you can take in all 6 at once.
Yeah,
That's probably about the max that we want to do.
yeah.
But if we do 2, 2, 2,
Yeah,
and those are the 3 basic personas.
yeah,
And then you can choose, you know, which ones you actually are interested in.
right.
mix and match.
Right. You can learn more about your persona type. Like, I'm a business owner and I want to hear more that gets me interested, or you can pick on, an individual feature.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's a good way to.
And yeah, I like that.
I mean, but
And
who do
then
we
I'm
even
not using
care
one of
about?
these.
Like we have this platform. It does these things.
Mm.
Holy smoke. I may have to just take back all my bad words about immerse. Did you know if you make two fists, you can pan and zoom and move the screens around effortlessly?
Can you?
Do you use
Okay.
controllers or you use hands?
I use control. I've actually turned off hands because I find them irritating.
You don't like hands? Okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like hands.
Anyway, sorry. Oh,
If
sorry.
if
I
I
was.
do it with my brain, it'd be even better. Yeah.
Who do we even care
So
about? I guess is my deeper question, because trying to cater to too many people is like, it is a business owner really going to come in and be interested in Agentic? Probably not. Do we care about them at this stage? Probably not. I would say that we're more heavily caring about the devs right now. Really, we're like, hey, have you got a good idea
okay.
for a thing? Because it's like, well, we're the devs are gonna do the selling. No business owner in their right fucking mind would come and buy from the website, because it's like, Agentic's pretty new, so's our platform, and then you want a business owner to take the punt and be like, yep, sign me up. It's probably not gonna happen. But the devs and the dev curious, they could turn up and their call to action is use the agent, play with the agent, which is kind of the same call to action as the business owner. Play with it, use it, try and get
There,
it to do something.
there's quite a lot of overlap if we get the wording right. Then, so
Yeah,
for example, dev and business both interested in security because you're going to get asked as a dev.
yeah, that's right, that's right, that's
And
right.
you say, yeah, it's stack. And if we put in something about cost in there, then that allows the dev to go off and sell their idea. Or if they're being approached by a business, can you do this? What does it? What can you offer? Why would I do this? Then effectively handing them the argument would be similar to a business guy going in and seeing a kind of meta argument and saying, yeah, well, that's okay. So maybe we should merge, we could see where the different personas overlap, and we should start at that top level with the overlaps.
I think we should ditch the concept of personas altogether and just shoot for just one kind of person, because at the end of the scrolling session, the call to action is play with the platform, right? Kick off an agent, bring your data, play with the platform. The the thing we want them to do next is the same, no matter who you are. Devs are familiar. Devs are they know that they have to dig more if they want to get into, okay, where's the source repository, where's the this, where's the that. But we still want anyone to just fire up the platform and get in there. This notion of,
Yeah, I think
right, the notion
you're onto something here.
of
So
doers and funders and buyers was for the mechanics of the Dreamcatcher, which I think we surfaced too high up. Those mechanics mattered when we had to manually manage everything. We don't need that now.
yeah, I think I agree. I think what I was saying is, what are the if we ditch personas, what are the common people who would look at this and go, "This is a good thing to do"? And what are the overlaps? And what's the proof? Because that's the kind of the argument thing. It's like, what do you do? How do you do it? How do I know? It does it. Here's a bunch of smiley faces saying, "I've done it and it was lovely," and here's call to action. That's the usual way of doing it, isn't it? But if we ditch the personas and look for the overlaps, where they all care about the same thing, then I think we're onto something. So I don't know, something like right, you can you can automate using multi AI agents. Some people won't know what that means. Some people will, but it's like, okay, so that's a good how. The other concerns is this going to be very expensive? Is it break anything? Um, is it going to be legal? How much is it going to cost?
Look, I think it's the wrong path to try and consider what people want, which sounds, wrong. I'll admit, but
yeah, controversial, but yeah,
yeah, but fuck what people want when there's something so new. If you had asked the marketing department for the Model T, blah blah blah, okay, well, what do people want? They'd be like, well, they want a cheaper, faster horse. I mean, that's sort of the position we're in. We're like, no, most people barely, people are still coming up to speed with AI. Agentic platforms is like the next fucking. They're like, what the fuck is that? Like, it
that's
doesn't
an
matter.
interesting thought, actually.
It doesn't matter what they want. We tell them what we got, I think, is the better thing.
Yeah. Well, what was the advertising for the Model T?
Look,
that's a good analogy.
I don't know, but what I have got here is this is Salesforce is pretty much all in on agentic platform, right? And this is their landing page, which they would have spent a lot more money than us on, and they don't look like they're trying to segment fuck all. Like, they're like, this is what it is. This is how it works. Here's a little widget. You click on the thing. It looks cool. It does some stuff. Like, what I really want the call to action to be is to try and get someone to chat with our sales agent, like experience the platform by using or interacting with one of our agents. There's like the customer service thing will answer all the questions you got, but there's also like the tour guide. You know how you can go to like the Boeing factory and get a tour of how it works? Like, that's one agent that could be handed over to. It's like, I want to see how this all works. And then you're like, well, here's the tour guide. And you chat with that agent and they do this and that and show you around the platform and all that. And then if you ask a too advanced question, I'm like, what are the consistency guarantees on a globally distributed version of this platform? How do you handle race conditions? It's like, oh, hang on, I need to get one of our technical specialists. That's another agent. And so by promoting the platform, by answering all their questions, we're using or showing what the platform does, which is a way to get across a type of knowledge that you can't get by reading. Just like you can't read enough about how to ride a bicycle to do it, or even read enough about going on an airline flight for the first time. When you just fucking shut the fuck up, get on the plane and do it, it takes less effort from you and you understand way more than anyone who read every book on the planet about it. And that's what we want. That's what we want to get people into.
So, following that train of thought, then the landing page or the homepage should be very small indeed.
Very small. Yep.
Where um, it's the core things that is basically saying well, you don't even need how it works
No,
because
it's the
yeah,
core
it's like
thing, but it's also
right
crucially it's
chat.
some core agents. Like it's the core agents that we're starting with to introduce you. It's the agent arena, or basically the gladiator pit for agents, where we're like, this is what the perfect agent would do, and here's all the contenders with their differing um, ways of getting about doing that job, and here's their score when they all fought each other. This is currently our best agent.
Hmm. And
Each of those things provides the jump off point for like someone who's interested in making an agent would see the leaderboard and be like, that's cool. And they'd jump into it and be like, how did that work? Show me the tests. Like, we want to get people into the platform rather than sitting on the web page learning about it.
yeah, so really it's there's little information up here, just enough to get you to talk to a bot.
Mm. The hooks, right?
Um,
So
and
there's
then it's okay, a flashing cursor problem, but you can have the bot say, "Hey, can you tell me something about yourself?" And I'll, try and help,
right.
or
Yeah,
something
it
along
doesn't
those lines.
even matter. Like, at that point, the problem is our bots suck, which is what we want to be working on, not our landing page sucks. Like, our landing page can be made and made good and stand there, and then we'll just fill in the platform. Like, things like data sovereignty. That's sort of, I'd say that surfaces as one of the top things. Um,
Yes,
you know,
I agree. Security, data sovereignty, immutability.
yeah, but that should be
Um,
one thing. Like, that's not three things. That's one thing, because that's all it needs. Or it's all it can afford to be at that top level. Um, pricing. Pricing is, that's where we introduce this rather controversial fairness model run by an
mm,
agent. But that's like one thing, because we should be trying to be controversial, because controversial gets attention. And controversial is saying something like, instead of calling it pricing, call it labor laws. Or, like, what are the labor laws? How do we treat our AI agents fairly? How are they paid fairly? Like, that's kind of comical, kind of disturbing, kind of dystopian, but it's better than,
I quite like that idea.
right?
Quite like
And
that
then,
idea.
but the key
So,
core danger thing is we got to promote self
mhm,
awareness. Like, we're trying to make the bots be, the agents are able to be self improving, and they are aware of their own infrastructure. And so they can make themselves better. And we got to promote that as one of the features, because that's a big, like, dangerous no. And we're going to do it. Like, uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, well, um, so I like the provocative thing.
yeah, but it's
Going all punk
provocative
on it.
and modest.
Um, I'm not sure you can do both of those at the same
Yeah,
time,
you
but we'll give
can,
it.
because you can be like, yeah, we're gonna make
Um,
these bots censorship proof and self improving, and that's like pretty modest. But if you read that and believed us, and believed that we could do it, you'd be like, oh my god, that's so bad, that's so dangerous. You'd be wrong, of course, but um,
yeah.
the point is, that's provocative, but it's also very modest. It's like when the Ayatollah of Iran came in to announce that they were now nuclear capable. All he did was turn up on stage and said, Iran is now nuclear capable, and then left. and that was it. So
Yeah, I don't think he's actually done that yet.
what?
Natanz hasn't yet produced enough fissile material. But anyway,
No, it was nuclear. They had nuclear. It wasn't weapons grade, but it was now they were nuclear. They were a nuclear power.
oh yeah.
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 Anyway,
Okay. Right. Okay. That's good. That's helpful. So, tone is avoiding anything that any other AI website said. Really, it's just looking at making bold statements that will make you go, really? And then,
if you're paying
well,
attention,
talk to the
yeah,
bot.
the simple statements, and if you're paying attention, it's like, really, that's fucking super interesting. And that's the kind of person we want, really.
Mm.
And we're not, you
Okay.
know, we're
All right.
completely open about it, and we're open
I like
about
that.
where we're at with it. We're like, look, it's prototypical, but this is what we're shooting for.
I like that. Okay. And we'd have to be careful with the wording in terms of if we were to say, you know, attribution, that would mean nothing
That's right.
to someone coming up with it. But
Pricing, how to
fairness,
pay and get paid. How do I pay and get paid?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So if look at those top 6, and we do no other wording on it, and then the next thing is talk to the bot. That'd be about as minimalist as it can get, right?
Yeah, I think
You
so.
don't have to read that much.
No, you just got to look at the icons in the headline, and honestly, that's all people got time to give us anyway.
Yeah, and
but we just need a way to get to we need a way to get to the agent store. Like even Agent Force has got, you know, they sort of have an agent store sort of thing here. Anyway, like, see, because the issue with this page, which now these guys have sunk billions into this particular thing, right? So they're not this website has survived a lot of meetings, but there's no like the call to action is not, I can't just go and talk to a bot, you know. Whereas like if I contrast that with Open Router, which is not trying to be an agentic platform really, but their call to action is awesome. It's like chat, okay, and now you're like, what is Open Router? Like it's that's how it's good. Like it should be like that.
Right. So if we just give enough of teasers, provocative teasers with bold claims, and then you just go chat to the bot, and then inside the bot, you say, "Hey, what would you like to talk about?" And we'll seed it with, you know, tell us what you want, what you're trying to achieve, for example.
Yeah, like we need
And
to get
then
it. It's basically
drill down
like,
from there.
yeah, the landing, and then you ought to be straight into botland. Meet the agents. So I really did. I think it was quite insightful and necessary, the distinction you were talking about last time about the difference between continuous consciousness and intermittent consciousness. And I kind of went to town on that and have used that as the philosophical distinction between what is a nap and what is an agent. Because an agent is a nap. An agent is a subset of a nap.
Mm-hmm.
but a NAP has persistent data but doesn't evolve or change itself based on experiences. An agent continuously evolves in behavior or capabilities through accumulated experiences and actively uses persistent internal state to guide autonomous decisions. So effectively,
Right.
an agent has long-term state. It's basically a long context AI application where the context never resets. Whereas the current round of chatbots, the context is always resetting on you, which is fucking annoying because it doesn't remember, it doesn't carry expertise. You couldn't say it's not getting better. Like the more I talk to ChatGPT, it doesn't get better for it. It every so often there's a new model comes out and that's better. But an agent would get better with me, with my private context that I gave it, with the company context, the company tone, all those kinds of things.
Yes, and there's a bit of work to be done there on prompting and the knowledge structure because you don't want to have to search through, you know, a year's worth of thread in order to get its next one. So there needs to be um,
Yeah,
another piece of work that we
techniques
talked
and
about is
but yeah, yeah.
yeah, sharding of ideas or sharding
Well,
of
right,
previous
right. But
threads.
we're not trying to present that as a solved thing. We're saying that that's a requirement, and here's a platform that presents multiple best of breed solutions to that hard problem. If you think you've got a better idea, come over here and make some money.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
So yeah, I think
Okay.
that's a powerful distinction that we need to somehow hoist up into the network, into the website, which is like, what is an agent? And you're like, yeah, that's where you can say the subtle but provocative things like it's long-term consciousness, or if AI is currently short-term conscious, then agents are long-term conscious, where they adapt and evolve based on the task. They learn on the job, all those types of things. And so we're the platform
Yeah, yeah,
where that
yeah.
happens, right? And that positions Artifact as the environment that the agents operate in.
Yes, yes. And pretty sure you can get a very provocative. Did you? I wasn't expecting you to actually read that because it's a very long thread that I sent over. But did you find it useful?
I
Because there's
found the
some
concept useful.
absolute winners.
The I did not read the whole thread, but the concept of being able to distinct, like, what is an agent is critical, and the only real distinction is the length of context, or how long the consciousness spans.
Yes, and ultimately, if you have, say, a PA agent, well, every time you spin up a new agent, then knows nothing about you really,
Yeah,
except for the information that you give. But
yeah,
it's self-improving and it's got continuous memory,
yeah,
as opposed to what we've got at the moment, which is
yeah.
the discontinuous.
Discontinuous, and
You
it's
know,
like it's sloppy, like it's lossily compressed. It's discarded. It's not good, and like it also, the agent needs to be able to take admonishment. Like, you need to be like, you suck, you did that wrong, never do that, do it this way. Like, those types of instructions are
yeah,
just lost right now, but that should be used to modify the system prompt. Or there should be a background dreaming process where they look at the day's prompts and how they did, rate themselves, and then see if some of their fundamental principles could be updated to improve. Uh, uh,
oh, that's interesting. Sorry, go on.
but that's all part of the environment that the agent comes in. There are some very standard environmental things that all agents have to have, and that batch-based reflection and self-improvement is critical.
Yes, and that the reason I was interested in that is because you're thinking along the same lines of when you said dream. That dreaming, that background process, that sharding of ideas, that is not just the prompt that is being improved, but it's the memory is also being improved. So, say if hey, I never want you to call me Ginger ever again, and you got a whole bunch of previous things that had Ginger in it. It's like, well, okay, I've got to go back through the memory and make sure that I never do that again. So it's not an upfront rule that you apply. It's a background kind of dreaming process where your memories are, or it's the agent's memories are rewritten uh, based on the experience of interacting with the user.
Yep.
And what I found with that long thread that I sent you was I found it really quite profound. As at the end, it's like I'm really quite sad to stop this. So I copied the entire thread over, and then tried to restart it. And the new thread, using exactly the same model, was like a complete stranger. It's like, come on, dude,
Yeah, that's the
what's wrong
thing,
with you
right?
about
It
this?
lost the connection is lost. It should never do that. It should never do that.
Yeah,
And so that
yeah,
fundamental property of the agent is key. Now, the other aspect that we need to surface somehow is the notion of hierarchy, like price-based hierarchy too. Like you pay more for your manager, you pay more for your top dev, your lead something, your top guy, right? And so we can say how you can take these agents and compose them into teams where like team lead runs the latest greatest model, and then all the plebs, do the work or follow the instructions of the expensive guy. So there's sort of, we need to get people looking at this,
yeah,
thinking about it in the same way that humans are, because the metaphor is perfect. You should think about it exactly like humans.
yeah.
The
Cheap,
good
cheap,
ones cost
fast,
more.
easy jobs versus I really need to think about this.
Yeah, right.
You
And
know,
then
as
and
a
then so
CEO.
there's
Yeah.
there's three kinds of agents really, which is the local agents, which run completely local to you, the open source, open state. Then there's the
Mhm.
proprietary agents, which are necessarily remote, which means that someone made an agent that did really well in the leaderboard, but they don't want to give away how it works. So there will be different types of data sovereignty implications on that. And then the third one
Mhm.
is a mixture of either remote or local that's backed by humans. So the bots work, and then the bots hit problems in their job, and then the humans help them along. So, there's like
Mhm.
pure agent, and then there's human assisted agent. Those are kind of what we want to be
Which is
selling.
where the stocks come from.
Yeah,
Stocks can only come
yeah,
from humans.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like a couple of layers below what we present as our face, which is like ta-da, agentic platform. There's all this extra stuff that if you peel it back, you'll get into soon enough. But we definitely don't want to
Mhm.
lead with that. That's all.
Yes, because I rather like the idea of having six boxes and then uh, talk to the bot,
Six
and that's
boxes,
about it.
talk to the bot. Yep.
Except for all the abouts and all
Yeah,
terms and
like
conditions, all that kind of thing. You need to
you
write in the bot.
can, yeah. We just keep having less and less important shit until way down the bottom. It's like, what are you doing? Like, get off the fucking website and use the
Yeah,
bot.
yeah, yeah. I think we can strip this right down.
Yeah.
Um, Okay. Good. Good. The interesting thing is, I will still commit this website, but I'm starting to think actually what that is, and then you'll see it when I commit it, um, are what those agents are. When they're
Yeah.
talking about each section. I've got it was a surprisingly long list actually, but I've not pruned it yet. But just off the back of it, it was like, well, okay, there's quite a lot of agents there.
Yeah, there is.
But most of them are at that kind of tier 2 level that you're talking about, or
Mm,
maybe tier 3, middle or lower,
mm, mm.
because they're more specialized. But the tier 3 really kind of moves into NAP, kind of just answer this question
Yeah, yeah, right. It's
kind of situation.
borderline, but that's true with humans too. You're like this person could be a machine or could be not. Like it's just hanging in there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, good. Right.
Can you give
I
me
think I've got enough for the next iteration.
just a second?
Yeah.
Um. Oh yeah, even like the website should be an agent. So like our own agents would be one of them would be the webmaster, right? And the idea is that you could come in and talk to the webmaster and be like, you know, I think your website sucks because blah blah blah. I think your website should be blah. That's advice that people love to give. I don't know why they just give
Actually,
that shit away.
it's a bit of a it's a bit of a toy, but it's kind of cool, right?
And
Because if you
then
say if you went on there and you had an experience,
yeah,
usually you just take that experience away from you.
yeah.
But if there was a bot there saying, "Tell us what you think about,
Well, it's the
you
yeah,
know,
like it's
our
the
website,"
webmaster agent. Now you could have this agent running your website because first of all, it would design it for you. It would go through the iterations, and you could argue with it. But then you could tell us about our website and what's wrong, and it would ask you questions what you wanted to see or didn't want to see, and then it could make you a version of it, which is a lot easier to do. Like if we've laid out the framework of what the website needs to be, then having generative versions is much simpler than trying to generate the whole thing from scratch. So the webmaster, once it's been had its foundation built, is very easily able to talk with the person and have our own website alter right in front of them, and then we'll present them that version based on the cookie in their browser. And plus we might just decide that we want to adopt that change higher up, and then we'll also be like, yeah, we'll pay for you too. Thank you for helping.
I think that'd be a real um, talking point.
That's
Is
the
it?
point though. Like
It's
we use the
it
agents.
goes a lot deeper.
It's way
Yeah,
deep,
it goes
dude.
a lot deeper. But
Yeah,
in terms of turning up at a website and going, I was looking for this.
yeah.
Just talk to the. And it's like, oh,
And then the
okay,
website
well,
changed because you came to it. It
yeah.
changed, and now you're like, oh, that was cool.
Hmm,
Nowhere else on earth do you get
hmm,
that right now. Even when you own the website and you're not a web developer yourself, you still have never had that experience.
yeah, okay, that's
Yeah.
quite cool.
So
Um,
this is sort of
but it's
the essence of what I'm trying to get at is that it's the entry point. It describes what we're doing, yes, but it's the entry point, and then the agents themselves
hmm,
are what grow whatever we put down as this base seed. They will grow it based on people using it, but primarily it's all about using the fucking agents.
hmm.
Now, the last
Hmm.
sort of example that I want to try and load into your RAM, if you'll take
Hmm.
it, is the company simulator, where you should be able to come in to the agent platform, ask some questions like, what if I had 1,000 customers and then they do blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And then the simulator would sort of spin up some agents for you and be like, does that sort of look like the team you want? And then it'd do some test queries from customers like, hi there, I'm complaining about blah, blah, blah. And then you could actually see a simulated version of what your company could be like.
Hmm.
And whilst that sounds amazing, to do that is around about the same amount of effort as to get the platform itself up, which is not that much more. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm really thinking of that. So,
right. So with
I mean, this is
limitations, we could
effectively,
do that.
yeah, it's modeling, isn't it? It's hey, you know, do you want to build a business? Here's what it looks like using agentic.
Right. And then the idea
And maybe
is
that's your,
like by showing people how the agents work in a simulation, or by letting them use the agents, they should at the very least walk away with a personal agent that they want to keep using. Because if we offered like the web research agent and we're like, hey, here's like 5 free calls or whatever, and the web research agent does a good job, they're like, can I just use that now for me? And they're like, sure. Agents don't discriminate between persons or companies or whatever. Go right ahead.
oh, here's a similar point. When people making buying decisions, they don't do it on the first visit. They do it, I don't know, 10, 12 visits on, you know, a big change like this. If we could identify that person across their various devices, and the agent remembered what had been previously talked about.
Mm. Even that's good, dude.
Um,
Memory.
yeah,
You come back in and it's like, oh,
because
hey. And you're like, oh, were you the guy that was asking about the blah, blah, blah? And then you're like,
yeah,
yeah,
or yeah, it's like, yeah, how's you know, how's the plan for the pharmaceutical company coming
that's
on?
right, that's right. And then it starts to, the personalization, the long context becomes apparent. It's like you just experienced continuous consciousness in a machine.
Yeah,
It knew you, it
yeah,
remembered what you'd talked about. Um,
yeah.
so I think that part of that promotion that we want is sort of to say, well, to open up your imagination to having a company of just you, like a company for you. It's like, well, you could have all these agents working for you right now. They're that cheap that you could set up your own, like your supermarket shopper, your nutrition guide, your workout management agent, your email assistant. You can have these agents. That you don't have to have a company. Like that's you right now. Like that's what the Dreamcatcher platform is. You have these agents that do stuff for you, and as a company, you can have these agents do stuff for the whole company. But really,
Mm.
like, why shouldn't you have an entourage of staff doing all your stuff for you?
It follows then that we completely collapse. I think you're pointing towards that, but completely collapses the different roles. I mean, what does a dev mean in this situation?
Nothing, dude.
Where what yeah, and what's the difference between a investor, business, dev? It's a bunch of guys trying to get a bunch of stuff done.
Yeah. And you just end up talking to a different agent or using a different agent. But maybe actually, now that we just sit here and pause a bit, maybe the real hook is to blur the lines between it's not really company that we want. We don't really want to sell to a company. We want to sell to the individual. And by implication, show them that they can have enough staff as though it was a company. And so it becomes obvious and trivial that they could just deploy that at their company as well. Like if it works, every single function that these agents provide is valuable to an individual because it represents high quality, cheap, instantaneous, endless, limitless, willing labor. And every single human has a use for that. And if they can use it for themselves, if they can believe that it's useful for them, you'll never stop them talking about it at work or thinking about it implementing in their business. And that's probably the better sell. Not trying to go business first, but go personal first. So you actually go, we sell,
Person only.
yeah, personal, and then swarm. Like it's personal, but you can act as a pack, and that's a company.
Well, I'm thinking it doesn't need to be even a company. You could come on here, start to talk about like a personal wellness coach.
Right.
You never intend to sell it, so it's not a company. You never intend to get any cash from it. So you're not, a dev or anything like that. And then everyone, you say something quite important there. Every individual can come on here and do what they want and expand the number of helpers to get them to do that. But we're not specifying what that want is. We're not even
Yep.
talking about business anymore.
No.
You could get someone coming on there and
A style
working
guide.
on their maths PhD,
Yep.
or style guide, or
Their stand-up comedian
how
skills.
to. Right.
So, sir, I
Right.
think the distinction actually becomes agents for you, but then agents as a team. So, like, first of all, there's you, and then there's this really useful agent. Okay, get your head around that. Great. Then there's like a team of agents that you could have, and you're like, oh, that's even better. I now have like a litter or staff. And then the final step is you and your people, like the humans that you count as your teammates in anything, could be your drinking buddies, your colleagues, your family members, whatever. The team plan is where there's a group, a team of humans assisted by a team of agents. And that's the final state that we want to get to. And it looks a lot like the SaaS pricing models where you go like free or hobby, personal, hard worker or professional, and then team. And as soon as you hit team, it's like call us almost, right? But that's the ramp we want to get to.
I can work with that. That's it's also the death of the internet, really.
Yes. Well, mate, the internet died a long time ago for 1,000 different reasons, but this is just, yeah.
No, it's quite amusing. It's been needing to die.
Yeah.
Because look at this page. It's like, what do I do with this?
Right. And so
probably spend an afternoon trying to figure it out. Yeah.
So that's really the thing, right? The progression. Like, this is what an agent is, cool. Now you can have a team of them, better. And now your team, your people can have a team helping it. How much more powerful would that be? Great, get on it. Play with it. Convince your team buddies, spend some money, see how it all works, ask us questions, get deeper into the weeds, ask about GDPR, data processing, where's my data, learn how to use the agents to teach you about the platform faster than you ever learned about anything in your whole damn life, whilst also learning about it because of the fact that you're using the platform. Like, the concept is what we want to teach people. And then, like, surely they'd be like, fuck, this is just a no-brainer. Like, I have to have this in my life. I'm never hand typing another email again. And
Mm-hmm.
I need this at my company because I hated my job anyway. But now that I know that I don't have to do the menial crap that I spend half my time doing, like, we just got to get on this, and we got to get on it right now. Who do I talk to? And then we're like, us, after you've made it through our agents. And we use the agents for our, like, taking our inbound, doing our leads development.
Oh, I've got a good idea. Is it a good idea yet? I don't know. No, let me work on that one. Oh, my idea very, very roughly is you just get the very, very slightest of text that you have to read, and then you get an agent, and you talk to the agent, and the agent says, "Hey, what are you interested in?" And it's like, "Oh, right, I'm trying to start a business," and then up pops another agent, which is, "Hey, I'm the business agent. How can I help?" Or you want to say, "I wanted to learn more about this tech." It's like, here's the techie agent on that one screen.
Yep.
Because that personification or anthropomorphic,
Yep.
it's a long word. That personification, I think, is a really important thing.
Yep.
Especially if it remembers what your conversations
Yep.
were
Yeah,
last
and
time.
especially if
'Cause
there
you go
was
straight back in
multiple
and say,
agents in the background trying to try different alternate views on what might be best for you, and you could watch it sort of bubbling up
Mhm.
to a final, like, high grade outcome, and you're like, yep, that thing, go do that.
Yeah.
Or you're like, here's my email account, or let me sign up for an email account on the platform. I want to email this thing, that thing. And because it knows you so well, it's like probably going to nail it every time.
hmm And then because it's got NAPs, it's got access to basically everything that we've already got access to, from
Yeah,
maps to, dealing with banks.
that's right. That's right. It's all the data and computing that you already had, but the agents make it so that they're like assistants that know you. They're like little versions of you that specialize in something.
hmm
And then, like, you're never going
So
anywhere. And
systems that
if your data is sovereign and you trust the system, and you can have these new agents all the time, plus you can influence the agents by, like, asking for new stuff, and it comes up like next day or next 2 days, and then the feature's there, and you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, you only got to get someone with one killer feature that they've been trying all their lives to have, and you deliver that to them like next day, they will never leave you.
hmm this this point that came up in the thread I sent over about the continuous and non-continuous, I think is absolutely critical, because
Yeah.
really what you want is stickiness, and stickiness comes from
Yeah.
continuous
Continuous
intelligence.
intelligence, I think, is actually the essence of what the agentic platform is about. Continuous intelligence. The
But at the moment,
personification
it's
is,
discontinuous.
yeah, right. The personification is kind of this, that, or the other thing, but the continuous part is what matters. And then, in the background, we have, if you dig deep enough, you'll find out about our efforts to blockchain the whole thing so that these continuous intelligences are also unable to be turned off. Whoop-de-doo, be
Yeah,
afraid
but
or be
that's
not afraid, whatever.
yeah, most people won't care about that sort of thing
No,
the same way as most
yeah,
people don't have any
yeah,
idea where the
yeah.
electricity
So
comes
it's
from.
it's it's buried quite far down, and like if someone wants to invest a chunk of cash with us because they believe in what's happening, that's when we'll start. You could get to that level through the agents, and you could find it by chatting, but like we don't need to. We certainly That's not landing page material. That's like deep down the
Mm,
stack. But anyone that cares enough will get there
mm,
pretty quickly, and those are the people that we want to be in business with. It's like, do you think that's a good thing, or do you think it's a bad thing and you want to see it happen just for the lulz? Like, come on, this is this is where it's going. Might as well be us.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Cool.
Right. I'm gonna need to go.
Sweet.
Largely because my round's full. I don't want to write down a whole bunch of.
That's cool,
stuff
buddy.
that
I'll
just
stop the
come to mind.
recording and I'll begin the upload process. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.